Nobody is coming. Not your friends, not your family, not motivation, not some perfect moment in the future where everything finally makes sense. That sentence hurts, and that's exactly why most people avoid it. We grow up believing that if we struggle long enough, someone will notice. If we suffer quietly, someone will step in. If we wait just a little longer, life will get easier. But here's the brutal truth. Life doesn't reward waiting. It rewards responsibility. Every day, people sit inside lives they hate, telling themselves the same lies. I just need more motivation. I'm not ready yet. Someone else has it easier than me. And while they wait, time keeps moving forward without mercy. Stoic philosophy never promised comfort. It never promised fairness. It promised something far more powerful: control. Control over your thoughts, control over your actions, control over how you respond when life doesn't care about your feelings. The moment you truly accept that nobody is coming, something strange happens. You stop feeling abandoned. You stop feeling angry. You stop feeling like a victim. Because responsibility, when taken fully, turns into freedom. If no one is coming to save you, then no one is stopping you either. No one is blocking your discipline. No one is preventing you from changing your habits. No one is responsible for your life but you. And that realization is terrifying. But it is also the moment your life finally begins. In this video, we're going to walk through 7 Stoic truths that force you to grow up mentally. Not softly, not gently, but honestly. If you're tired of waiting for motivation, if you're done hoping someone else will understand your struggle, if you're ready to stop wasting time and start building your life with intention, stay with me. Nobody is coming, and that's exactly why this is your moment. Waiting for rescue is a silent form of self-betrayal. Waiting doesn't look dangerous at first. It looks harmless, reasonable, even mature. You tell yourself you're being patient. You tell yourself you're processing, healing, or getting ready. But beneath that calm surface, something else is happening. You are quietly betraying yourself. Every time you wait for motivation instead of acting, you hand your power away. Every time you wait for someone to understand your pain, you delay your growth. Every time you wait for the perfect moment, you choose comfort over change. And comfort never builds a strong life. Most people don't ruin their lives through big mistakes. They ruin them through small delays repeated daily. I'll start next week. I need to feel ready. Once things calm down, I'll focus. Those sentences feel innocent. They are not. They are how years disappear. Waiting feels safe because it protects your ego. If you don't act, you don't fail. If you don't try, you don't get exposed. If you stay in preparation mode, you never have to face your limits. But Stoic philosophy sees waiting for what it really is: avoidance. Not avoidance of pain, but avoidance of responsibility. The Stoics understood something modern culture avoids admitting. Action comes before confidence, not after. You do not wait to feel strong. You act, and strength follows. Look at any area of life where people claim to be stuck. Health. They wait to feel motivated before training. Money. They wait for the right opportunity instead of building skills. Relationships. They wait for someone else to change before setting boundaries. In every case, waiting becomes a polite excuse to stay the same. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No one is impressed by how long you've been struggling. The world does not pause out of sympathy. It responds only to movement. This is where Stoicism draws a hard line. You are not responsible for what happened to you, but you are fully responsible for what you do next. That responsibility does not require confidence. It does not require certainty. It does not require permission. It requires decision. Decision to act while afraid. Decision to move while uncertain. Decision to do the work, even when it feels pointless. Discipline is not built in moments of clarity. It is built in moments of resistance. Every day you delay the hard thing, you train your mind to avoid difficulty. Every day you face it, even imperfectly, you train your mind to obey you. That is the real cost of waiting. It teaches your mind that excuses are acceptable, and once excuses become acceptable, self-respect begins to erode. You don't lose self-respect all at once. You lose it quietly, each time you say tomorrow and mean never. This is why waiting is not neutral. It is active self-sabotage disguised as patience. Stoic discipline demands something simpler and harder. Do the task while uncomfortable. Take the step before you feel ready. Begin without confidence, not because it feels good, but because it preserves your dignity. Here is the rule that changes everything. You don't wait until you feel capable. You act until you become capable. Today, choose one thing you've been avoiding. Not the biggest goal, not the perfect plan. Just one small action you've been delaying. 10 minutes, one decision, one step. Do it without drama. Do it without announcing it. Do it without expecting motivation to arrive first. Because the moment you stop waiting for rescue, you stop betraying yourself. And the moment you stop betraying yourself, your life begins to regain weight. Waiting feels safe. Discipline feels uncomfortable. Only one of them leads somewhere. Nobody cares about your excuses. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, and once you do, your life changes permanently. People may listen politely. They may nod. They may even say they understand. But when it comes to how the world responds to you, excuses carry no weight. The world does not reward effort that stays invisible. It does not reward intentions. It does not reward suffering. It responds to results. This isn't cruelty, it's reality. Stoic philosophy never taught people to complain louder so life would be fair. It taught them to become stronger so fairness no longer mattered. Most people hold tightly to excuses because excuses protect their identity. I didn't have time. I've been through a lot. I wasn't given the same opportunities. I'm just not built for this. Each one sounds reasonable. Each one quietly removes responsibility. And the moment responsibility disappears, so does power. Here's the uncomfortable part. Your reasons may be valid, but they are irrelevant. Pain does not exempt you from discipline. A hard past does not excuse a weak present. Understanding why you struggle does not automatically fix anything. Stoicism is ruthless about this point. What matters is not what happened to you. What matters is what you consistently do now. Think about the areas where people demand sympathy. In the gym, no one cares how tired you feel. Your body responds only to training. In money, no one pays you for potential. They pay for skill, execution, and reliability. In life, no one respects explanations long-term. They respect consistency. This is why excuses are so dangerous. They feel comforting in the moment, but they train helplessness over time. Every excuse you repeat teaches your mind one lesson. I am allowed to avoid discomfort. And avoidance compounds. One excuse turns into a habit turns into a personality. And one day you wake up with a life you barely recognize. Stoic thinkers warned against this centuries ago. They believed dignity is not claimed. It is demonstrated quietly, repeatedly, through action, not through speeches, not through justification, not through defending yourself. Action is the only argument the world listens to. This doesn't mean becoming cold or heartless. It means becoming honest. Honest about where you are. Honest about what you control. Honest about what you're avoiding. The Stoic response to difficulty is simple and brutal. What is required of me right now? Not tomorrow. Not when things feel better. Not when someone finally understands. Right now. And here is where most people break. They want recognition before effort. They want reassurance before discipline. They want guarantees before commitment. But life never works that way. The work comes first. The proof comes later. This is why Stoicism strips away excuses early. Because excuses delay action, and delay kills momentum. You don't need to explain your life to anyone. You need to build one you respect. And respect is earned privately, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one knows how hard it is. That's where results are forged. Here is a simple but uncomfortable exercise. Write down the excuse you use most often, the one that appears every time you avoid something important. Then ask yourself one question. If this excuse disappeared tomorrow, what would I have to do? That answer is the work. Not glamorous, not dramatic, just necessary. Do not argue with yourself. Do not wait to feel inspired. Take action before your mind negotiates its way out, because the longer you explain your situation, the longer it controls you. And the moment you stop explaining and start executing, something shifts. Your confidence stops being imaginary. Your self-respect stops depending on approval. Your identity starts to solidify. Results don't care about your past. They only respond to your present. Excuses keep you comfortable. Results make you free. Choose carefully. 3. Personal responsibility is freedom, not pressure. Most people misunderstand responsibility. They hear the word and immediately feel weight, blame, pressure. They think responsibility means saying everything is my fault. Stoic philosophy means something very different. Responsibility is not about blame, it is about ownership. Blame looks backward. Responsibility looks forward. Blame asks, who caused this? Responsibility asks, what can I do? This distinction changes everything. When you live in blame, you feel trapped. You feel small. You feel like life is happening to you. But when you accept responsibility, even in unfair situations, you regain control, not control over the past, but control over your response. And response is where power lives. The Stoics were brutally clear about this. You do not control events. You do not control other people. You do not control outcomes. But you always control your choices. That is not pressure. That is freedom. Think about the moments where people feel most powerless. Being disrespected, being betrayed, being ignored, being treated unfairly. The instinctive reaction is anger or bitterness. Why did they do this to me? How could this happen? Those questions feel justified, but they lead nowhere. Stoicism cuts through that spiral with one question. What part of this is mine to handle? Not to excuse others, not to deny injustice, but to reclaim agency. Because the moment you say my reaction is my responsibility, you take your life back from resentment. Responsibility gives you options. Blame removes them. This is why many people unconsciously avoid responsibility. It forces action. If your emotional state is your responsibility, you can't wait for others to behave better. If your progress is your responsibility, you can't hide behind unfair circumstances. If your self-respect is your responsibility, you can't outsource it to validation. That level of ownership is uncomfortable, but it is clean. No confusion, no drama, no endless analysis. Only one question matters. What action aligns with who I choose to be? The moment you accept responsibility, excuses collapse. So does self-pity. And something unexpected happens. You stop feeling overwhelmed, because overwhelm often comes from trying to control what isn't yours. Other people's opinions, other people's actions, other people's approval. Stoicism teaches you to drop what you cannot control and carry only what belongs to you. Your discipline, your standards, your effort, your integrity. That load is lighter than you think. Responsibility doesn't demand perfection, it demands consistency. You don't need to fix your entire life today. You need to handle today well. One decision, one boundary, one task done properly. That is how freedom is built. Not through rebellion, not through escape, through ownership. Here is a simple Stoic practice. When something frustrates you today, pause and ask, what is within my control right now? Then act only on that. Not emotionally, not dramatically, calmly. Because responsibility is not a punishment, it is the moment you stop waiting for permission to live properly. Blame keeps you dependent, responsibility makes you sovereign, and sovereignty over your mind, your actions, your direction is the highest form of freedom Stoicism offers. You don't need life to be fair, you need to be in control of yourself. And that begins the moment you accept responsibility without resentment, without excuses, and without fear. 4. Discipline replaces motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It shows up when life feels good and disappears the moment things get heavy. That's why so many people stay stuck. They keep waiting to feel ready before they act. Stoic philosophy rejects that approach entirely. You don't act because you feel motivated. You act because it is required. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Emotions change daily. Systems remain. If your progress depends on how you feel, your progress will always be fragile. Think about how motivation actually behaves. It rises when results appear and vanishes when resistance shows up. The moment the work becomes boring, uncomfortable, or lonely, motivation collapses. And when it collapses, most people stop. Discipline does not ask how you feel. It asks what must be done. That is why disciplined people look calm under pressure. They are not stronger emotionally. They are simply less dependent on emotion. Stoicism teaches you to build habits that operate even when your mind resists. Same time, same action, no negotiation. You don't debate whether to train. You train. You don't analyze whether to work. You work. You don't wait to feel confident before showing up. You show up and let confidence follow later. This is how inner strength is built. Quietly. Not through intensity, but through repetition. Most people overestimate what motivation can do and underestimate what consistency can build. They want transformation in bursts. Stoics build it in layers. Small actions done daily compound into identity, and identity outlasts emotion. When discipline replaces motivation, something powerful happens. You stop needing external encouragement. No praise required, no validation needed, no one watching. Your standards become internal. That is real freedom. Because when discipline runs your life, setbacks stop feeling personal. You don't spiral, you don't quit, you adjust and continue. This is why disciplined people recover faster from failure. They don't rely on excitement to restart. They rely on routine. The mind may complain, the body may resist, but the system carries you forward anyway. This is not harshness, it is mercy. Discipline removes decision fatigue. It removes overthinking. It removes excuses. You wake up knowing what you will do. You go to bed knowing you honored yourself. That quiet self-respect is worth more than temporary motivation. You don't need to feel inspired to live correctly. You need structure. Start simple. Choose a small set of non-negotiables. Things you do regardless of mood. Not impressive, not extreme, just consistent. When motivation fails, discipline remains. And when discipline remains long enough, your life begins to stabilize. Not because it's easy, but because it's controlled. And control, not motivation, is what actually changes a life. 5. Focus on your life. Stop watching others live. Distraction is one of the most effective ways to waste a life. Not loud distraction, but quiet, constant distraction. Watching others succeed. Comparing timelines. Measuring yourself against people you don't even know. It feels harmless. It isn't. Every minute you spend focused on someone else's life is a minute stolen from your own. Stoic philosophy treats attention as a limited resource. Where you place it determines who you become, and most people give it away without realizing it. They scroll, they observe, they comment, they judge. And slowly, their own life becomes something they watch instead of build. Comparison creates two illusions. If you feel behind, you become discouraged. If you feel ahead, you become complacent. Both are traps. There is no useful outcome in measuring your progress against someone else's path. Different starting points, different constraints, different responsibilities. Stoicism strips this noise away. It asks one question only. Are you improving compared to who you were yesterday? That question has weight. It forces honesty. Because when you focus on your own standards, excuses disappear. There is no one else to blame, no one else to impress, just work. Modern life makes this harder than ever. You are constantly invited into other people's narratives, their highlights, their opinions, their outrage. Stoics would see this for what it is, mental clutter. You cannot build a disciplined life while consuming endless distraction. You cannot hear your own direction while absorbing everyone else's noise. This is why focusing on your life feels uncomfortable at first. It removes escape. No more hiding in comparison. No more blaming systems. No more waiting for permission. Just you and the work in front of you. When you stop watching others, something shifts. Your pace becomes steadier. Your mind becomes quieter. Your decisions become clearer. You stop chasing relevance. You start building substance. And substance takes time. Quiet time. Boring time. Unseen time. Most people avoid that space because it feels empty. Stoics enter it because that's where strength is formed. You don't need to know what everyone else is doing. You need to know what you are doing next. Today, choose one area where you've been distracted by comparison. Step back. Reduce the input. Narrow the focus. Do one thing that moves your life forward, even slightly. Not because it's exciting, because it's yours. When you focus on your life, progress stops feeling rushed. It becomes deliberate. And deliberate progress compounds faster than frantic effort ever could. Other people's lives are none of your business. Your character is. Guard your attention. It is shaping you whether you notice it or not. Focus on your life. That is not selfish. That is responsibility. 6. Nobody is coming, so you become the one. There is a moment every disciplined person reaches. It doesn't arrive with confidence or excitement. It arrives quietly. It's the moment you stop waiting. Not because hope disappears, but because illusion does. You realize no one is coming to push you. No one is coming to remind you. No one is coming to hold you accountable. And strangely, that realization doesn't crush you. It steadies you. Because once you accept that help is not guaranteed, you stop building your life on expectations. You stop asking, will someone support me? You start asking, what kind of person do I need to become? That question changes behavior. When no one is coming, excuses lose their power. So does resentment. You stop replaying what others should have done. You stop waiting for understanding. You stop hoping someone will finally see your effort. You begin acting as if your life depends on you, because it does. Becoming the one doesn't mean becoming harsh or isolated. It means becoming reliable to yourself. You say you will wake up early, and you do. You say you will train, and you train. You say you will stop tolerating disrespect, and you enforce it. No speeches, no announcements, no negotiation. This is how self-trust is built. Most people lack confidence because they've broken too many promises to themselves. They wait for belief to return before acting. Stoicism reverses that order. You act first. Trust follows. When you become the one, your standards stop depending on mood. Your values stop shifting with convenience. You don't need to feel inspired to do what's right. You do it because it's aligned. That alignment creates calm even when life is difficult, even when progress is slow, even when no one notices, especially then. This is why Stoic strength looks quiet. There's no performance in it, just consistency. Becoming the one also means accepting loneliness at times, not isolation, but solitude. The solitude that comes from walking a path others won't commit to. You may move slower socially, but faster internally. You may lose approval, but gain self-respect. And self-respect weighs more than applause ever could. When you become the one, you stop asking life for permission. You stop asking people to validate your direction. You move because you've decided. That decision simplifies everything. Less mental noise, less emotional chaos, more clarity. Nobody is coming to save you. That truth is not cruel. It is clean. Because once you become the one you've been waiting for, waiting disappears. And in its place stands something stronger than hope: responsibility. 7. Build quietly. Let results speak. There is a phase of growth that feels uncomfortable to most people. Not because it's hard, but because it's invisible. No applause, no validation, no one checking in to see how you're doing. Just work. This is where most people break. They want signs. They want recognition. They want reassurance that what they're doing matters. Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. If your progress needs to be seen to be sustained, it is already weak. Real strength is built in silence. Quiet effort forces honesty. There is no audience to impress, no image to protect, only results, or the lack of them. When you build quietly, excuses have nowhere to hide. You can't perform discipline. You either live it or you don't. This is why silence sharpens focus. You stop explaining your plans. You stop defending your choices. You stop reacting to opinions that don't build your life. And in that silence, momentum grows slowly, consistently, uncomfortably. Stoics understood that noise is often a substitute for action. People talk when they should train. They argue when they should improve. They announce when they should prepare. Silence removes distraction. It turns energy inward where it can be used. When you stop narrating your progress, you move faster. When you stop seeking approval, your standards rise. When you stop explaining yourself, your confidence stabilizes. This isn't about secrecy, it's about efficiency. Every explanation costs energy. Every argument steals focus. Every attempt to be understood delays the work. Building quietly protects momentum. And when results finally appear, they speak clearly. No justification needed, no story required. Results change how people treat you. They change how you treat yourself. That's why Stoicism emphasizes patience, not passive patience, but active endurance. You keep going when nothing seems to change. You train when no one notices. You improve when no one is watching. That phase feels thankless, but it's essential. The strongest foundations are laid where no one sees them. If you rush to be visible, you expose weakness. If you allow yourself to be unseen, you build depth. Depth creates stability. Stability creates respect. And respect doesn't need to be demanded. It emerges naturally when your life has weight. So commit to the quiet phase. No announcements, no shared timelines, no constant updates. Just disciplined action, repeated daily. Let others underestimate you. Let time do its work. When the results arrive, and they won't need explanation. They will stand on their own. Silence is not absence. It is preparation. Build quietly. Let the results speak. Nobody is coming. Not later. Not when you feel ready. Not when life becomes fair. Now you understand why that truth matters. Waiting weakens you. Excuses keep you small. Discipline builds what motivation never can. You've seen it clearly now. The moment you stop waiting for rescue, you stop living in delay. You stop measuring your life by how understood you feel and start measuring it by how aligned you act. Stoic philosophy was never about escaping pain. It was about standing upright inside it, taking responsibility without bitterness, building discipline without noise, focusing on your life without comparison. That is strength. Not loud strength, not dramatic strength. Quiet, grounded, unshakable strength. If nobody is coming to save you, then nobody is blocking you either. No one is stopping you from training your body. No one is stopping you from sharpening your mind. No one is stopping you from setting boundaries, building skills, or correcting your direction. The only thing that ever stood in the way was waiting. And now that waiting is over. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You need consistency. One disciplined day after another. One honest action after another. One quiet improvement at a time. That is how lives are rebuilt. Not through hope, through ownership. Take this truth with you. Nobody is coming. And that's not a sentence. It's an invitation. An invitation to stop postponing your potential. An invitation to stop explaining and start executing. An invitation to become the person you've been waiting for. Focus on your life. Build it patiently. Build it quietly. Build it with discipline. And let the results speak when the time comes. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below. Nobody is coming. I take control, not for others, for yourself. Stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember, the strongest life is the one you take full responsibility for. See you in the next video.